خب دوستان، همینطور که میدونیم به جلسه 4 مثل این که رسیدیم و امروز بخش آخر فیلم دانیل آمنم راجع به Change Your Mind, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life پخش خواهیم کرد. ولی قبلش همونطوری که خانم خلاصه کردن، خانم لاله افق خلاصه کردن، ما تو این کلاس برای اینکه Change in Adulthood رو دنبال کنیم گفتیم رو 4 ستون، یعنی این اتاق ما هستیم، 4 ستونی که توش اختلال به وجود میاد و ترمیم یا تصحیح یا بازپروری یا توانبخشی روحی هم از این 4 ستون آغاز میشه، داریم بیشتر باز میکنیم. 4 ستون عبارتند از attachment، separation، integration و power. این که ما چگونه دلبستگی و دلبندی رو تجربه کردیم، این که ما چگونه جدایی رو تجربه کردیم، این که ما چگونه جنبه‌های مثبت و منفی خودمون و دیگران رو ادغام می‌کنیم و تصویر واقع بینانه تری پیدا می‌کنیم و این که در قدرت یا در ضعف چگونه عمل می‌کنیم. خب گفتیم attachment رو امروز براتون خوندیم. The term attachment refers to the ability to form close personal connection to others. واژه attachment توجیه میکنه توان ما را برای برقراری روابط نزدیک و شخصی با دیگران. روابط نزدیک و شخصی با دیگران همون نیرویی که به ما کمک میکنه دیگران رو بشناسیم، مشتاق نفوذ بیشتر در ذهن و روح و روان انسان دیگری باشیم و به او هم این اجازه رو بدیم که از ما شناخت دقیق تری پیدا بکنه، شناخت نزدیک تری پیدا بکنه. The time frame for the primary development of attachment is the first 6 months of life. دوره حساس اولیه برقراری این دلبستگی و دلبندی 6 ماهه اول عمر. به همین دلیل هم هست که الان در آموزش پرنتینگ در کتاب Parenting from Inside Out از دانیل سیگل که به فارسی هم ترجمه شده، رویکردی نوین در فن کودک پروری، دوست خود من خانم دکتر مهناز شهرآرایی اینو ترجمه کرده در ایران، در شرکت کتابم هست. دقیقاً دانیل سیگل اشاره میکنه به اینکه در 6 ماه اول عمر، همونطوری که قبلا مطالعات نوروساینس نشون داده، باند کردن با بچه بسیار بسیار حساسه و گفتیم باند کردن هم اینه که شما با بچه کیوینگ میکنید، یعنی هر کاری رو که آینه مرآت بچه میشید که بچه وقتی تصویر خودش رو در شما و احساسات خودش رو در شما میبینه احساس سیفتی میکنه که نزدیک بشه به دنیای بیرون. مادر بیمار، مادر افسرده، مادر مشوش، مادر معتاد کسی نیست که بتونه این امکان رو برای فرزندش فراهم کنه. بعد این جهیزیه ماست، این جهیزیه 6 ماه اول عمر با خودمون میاد بزرگتر و بزرگتر و بزرگتر میشه. هر جای این زندگی ما میتونیم تجربه تصحیحی داشته باشیم، هر جای زندگی میتونیم تجربه تصحیحی داشته باشیم. بعضی از شما ممکنه فکر کنید اولین نازنینی که اینجوری تو وجودتون رفته و باهاش کاملا امن بودید که معلم کلاس 2 ابتداییتونه، یا یک دختر همسایه است که میرفتید کنارش میشستید و همه چیز رو با امنیت و به اصطلاح صمیمیت بهش میگفتید. اینا همش میتونه جزء تجربیات تصحیحی باشه. یا در تینیجری یه دوست پسر یه دوست دختری که نیازهاش فرا جنسی باشه و بتونه اون باند عاطفی رو فراهم بکنه. یا در بزرگسالی یک همسر، یک جفت جور بتونه این تجربه تصحیحی رو بده. اگر تجربه اولیه ما در دوران بزرگسالی هم تکرار بشه، فقط چاله عمیق‌تر میشه. چاله که عمیق‌تر میشه یعنی چی؟ یعنی ما در 30 سالگی، در 50 سالگی نوعی حس میکنی که در 2 سالگی حس میکردی، در 3 سالگی، در 4 سالگی. اینو بهش میگن developmental arrestment، یعنی توقف کردن در یک مرحله. حالا چرا مهمه این اتچمنت؟ گفتیم یکی برای شخص خودمون مهمه، اهمیتش در اینه که فقط از طریق یک اتچمنت امن، true self یا خیشتن واقعی ما بیرون میاد، اصیل، آتنتیکه و ما خودمون هستیم و خیلی بازیای به اصطلاح این کلا رو برداریم یک کلا دیگه بذاریم، این کلا رو برداریم، نقش‌های مختلفی رو ایفا نمی‌کنیم. همتون تو زندگی به یه آدمی رسیدین، برخوردین که دیدین که وای چقدر کنارش آدم راحته و این آدم اون آدم اصیلیه که خودشه. بارها تو زندگیتون برگردین فکر کنین، ببینید گفتن که فلانی رو همه دوست دارن. پرسیدن چرا فلانی رو همه دوست دارن؟ گفتن که خیلی خودشه. یعنی چی؟ یعنی چی خیلی خودشه؟ حالا دیگه پارتی بازی نکنیم. خیلی خودشه یعنی چی؟ نقش بازی میکنه. من اونجایی که گفتم گردن این آدم رو گرفتم انداختم بیرون، واقعا فکر میکردم اگر برد یه موقعی از من کوئسشن بکنه بهش میگم که I didn't know I can be punished for being authentic. اونو باید به من جواب میدادن دیگه. مسئله این هست که البته ما حق نداریم به اسم آتنتیک بودن بزنیم یه مشتم تو صورت یه کسی و بگیم که that's how I felt, this was authentic. به چه دلیل؟ به دلیل اینکه attachment حالا در مورد others چه کار میکنه. Adults who have experienced healthy attachment have the ability to lean and trust others. کسی در رابطه با دیگران، این آدما به دیگران هم تکیه میکنن هم اعتماد میکنن. تکیه کردن اعتماد میخواد. تکیه کردن اعتماد میخواد. میگفتن اروپا بعد از جنگ جهانی دوم بزرگترین آسیبی که دید تعداد آدمایی که کشته شدن و بناهایی که ویران شد نبود، بلکه اعتماد در میان اروپایی ها آسیب دید، تراست آسیب دید، به طوری که مادر پدرای اروپای شرقی میخواستن به بچه هاشون یاد بدن که هیچ کس رو تراست نکن. بچه ها رو میذاشتن لب تاقچه، بعد میگفتن بپر، وقتی میپرید مادر پدر جا خالی میدادن که بچه بخوره زمین و بگن This is the world we live in. دنیا اینطوری، یعنی درست برعکس اعتماد به اصطلاح از بین بردن. چرا؟ ترسیده بودن که هر کسی میتونه منبع خطر باشه. خب اروپا تو یک به اصطلاح دوره‌ای رفت که اصلا اتچمنت خطرناکترین چیز بود و خب همین رو به اصطلاح پیاده کردن. مسئله نقش سومی که اتچمنت بازی میکنه رو کوپینگ و کوپینگ استایل. کوپ یعنی چی؟ یعنی مشکلاتی که پیش میاد ما چگونه باهاش کنار میایم میشه کوپینگ استایل. درسته؟ Relationships are the context for developing the ability to self-soothe by drawing upon the soothing of others. یعنی اون چیزی که به یکی دیگه رنج میده نباید من آروم کنه اگر من healthy attachment داشته باشم. و بنابراین شما نگاه کنید تو اینتراکشن های اجتماعی، مثلا خیلی اینو شنیدیم، یه چیزی گفتم که تا 7 سوراخش رو سوزوندم دلم خنک شد. اینو خب هممون میشنویم، ولی باید ببینیم که چرا اینو، یعنی اگر من اینو گفتم باید بلا فاصله هم من بترسم هم شما از من بترسی. چرا دلخونک شدن من یا قند تو دلم آب کردن فقط اینجوریه که شما به جلز ولز بیفتی؟ این باز کوپینگ ایمپکتی که اتچمنت ناامن بر روی ما به اصطلاح میگذاره. موضوع بعدی، بذارید من نرم رو موضوع بعدی، اول فیلم رو بریم نگاه کنیم، حالا بگم چرا نرم رو موضوع بعدی. این اتچمنت سکیور که همه این کارهایی که گفتیم هنرشه، به دلیل بسیار واضح یک چیزه که به بهترین بخش مغز فرصت میده که رئیس یا CEO کمپانی رفتارهای ما باشه. به بهترین بخش مغز که پریفرانتال کورتکسه. 9 ویژگی پریفرانتال کورتکس رو دیگه تا حالا میدونین: ایموشنال رگولیشن، تنظیم عواطف، امپاتی، همحسی، اسپریچوالیتی، معنویت، لاجیک، منطق، لرنینگ فرام پاست. اون دفعه یادتونه دانیل امین گفت بعضی آدم ها هستن که یه اشتباه مکرر تکرار میکنن، they don't learn from past، چون اینجا کار نمیکنه. حالا همینطور که اتچمنت سالم بهترین هدیه رو به ما میده، بهترین بخش مغز ما رو میکنه رئیس کمپانی رفتارامون، درست مثل که شما برای اپل یه مدیر گذاشتن، دیدین که خدا رحمتش کنه چه شکوفایی به وجود آورد. دقیقاً ما هم اگر یه رئیس خوب برای رفتارها مغزمون انتخاب بکنیم، این رئیس خوب به بهترین شکل مدیریت میکنه رفتارهای ما رو. خب حالا مدیریت درست رفتارهای ما فقط وقتی اتفاق میفته که ما فرمانها و نوروپت‌ها یا شاهراهای ارتباطی مغز از پریفرانتال لوب عبور کنه. پریفرانتال کورتکس، PFC، کنتاکی چیکن نیست؟ اون چیه؟ FC؟ آره این PFC. این قسمت کار بکنه. در غیر این صورت ما مغزمون میتونه عملکردش به قسمت‌های مختلف مغز بره. اگه بره قسمت امگدلا، مرکز اورژانس‌های رفتاری، ما اکثرا یه کارهای عجیب غریب میکنیم فوری، بعدم میشینیم پشیمون میشیم. اگر بره قسمت لیمبیک، خاستگاه عواطف که امشب میخونیم، که اون هفتم براتون یادمه خوندم که قسمت لیمبیک چه بلاها میتونه سر ما بیاره، در این حال اینکه قسمتی از مغزه که به ما حال خوش، عشق و عاشقی، دل و دلدادگی، رضامندی سکسی، اینا رو همه در اون قسمت فرم میگیره، اما اگر بد کار بکنه ما رو بیچاره میکنه. بهترین مغز اونه که همه این قسمت ها زیر کنترل پریفرانتال لوب باشه. و این مغز رو اون دفعه دیدیم از دانیل آمین چند تا چیز خراب میکنه. استرس کاری خراب میکنه، اعتیاد، مواد و به خصوص الکل و مت و مخلوط مت و کوک که میشه چی؟ شیشه، اکستسی، شیشه یا همچی چیزی. اینا الکل کینگ آف به اصطلاح ادیکشنه، سلطان اعتیادا الکله. و بعد بقیه اونا که مغز رو از بین میبره. تصاویرش رو دیدید دفعه پیش. در نتیجه پریفرانتال کورتکس کار نمیکنه، لحظه به لحظه هر مدلی که دلش میخواد ایمپالسیولی فرمان صادر میکنه. میدونی شبیه چیه؟ CEO کمپانی نیست، یه لحظه مستخدم اداره میاد یه قرارداد مینویسه میچسبونه به دیوار، یه لحظه دیگه آبدارچی میاد یه قرارداد مینویسه میچسبونه به، منشی میاد خودش کاغذ خرید امضا میکنه، نمیدونم رئیس به اصطلاح مسئول فروش واسه خودش هر چی میخواد میفروشه، انباردار انبار رو ول میکنه میره. در نتیجه هرج و مرجی تو این کمپانی وقتی پریفرانتال کورتکس کار نمیکنه، رفتارهای ما اسمش هست کیاتیک، هرج و مرجی، کیاتیک. حالا من فکر میکنم که بریم فیلم رو نگاه بکنیم، اون وقت بعد بیایم قسمت سپریشن رو هم اگر فرصت شد مطرح بکنیم، اگه چیز نشد. حالا دفعه پیش یه جمله دیگه من گفتم فقط تکرار کنم برای یادآوریتون، که تو این فیلم نشون داد مشکلاتی که در عمق لیمبیک لیمبیک گفتیم خاستگاه عواطفه. یعنی یه کسی که مثلا بهش بگی، من نمیدونم شما یادتونه یا نه، یه دونه از این خواننده های خیلی مردمی، حالا من نمیدونم مهوش بود، غزال بود، غزل اسمش بود، غزال بود، هرچی، خلاصی که از این خواننده های مردمی یه شعری میخوند، میگفتش که نمیدونم رفته بودی شوهر منو دیده بودی، شوهر من چیکار میکرد؟ بعد میگفتن که رفته بود گل خریده بود بره دیدن مثلا گرفرندش. بعد میگفت وای وای چیش پریده، این دل که آتیش پریده، نمیدونم چی. بعد دوباره دفعه دوم میگفتش که رفته بودی دیده بودی شوهر من چیکار میکرد؟ میگفتش که مثلا نشسته بودن تو مانتاژ داشتن با اون خانومه مثلا درینک میخوردن، مارگریت میخوردن، چی مارگریتا میخوردن. بعد دوباره این میگفت بیشتر جیغ میزد وای وای چیش بریده، این دل که آتیش بریده. خلاصه آخر سر میگفتش که رفته بودن خرید عروسی، این دوباره خودکشی میکرد. تو تئاتر من دیده بودم تو اینو، بعد مثلا خودشو میزد و موهاشو میکند و اینا. بعد میگفت چیکار میکرد؟ بعد میگفتش که دیگه رفتن عروسی و دیگه به ماه عسل که میرسیدیم بیهوش میافتاد رو زمین. لیمبیک سیستم یعنی اون قسمت خاستگاه عواطف، وقتی عاطفه رو که دوست نداره تجربه میکنه هی پریشون میشه، هی پریشونتر میشه و it can lead to psychosis، به جنون میتونه ختم بشه. خب مشکلاتی که تو عمق لیمبیک اتفاق میفته وقتی اونجا مشکل داشته باشه، این پدیده ها رو ما میبینیم. آدم مودیه، تحریک پذیره، افسرده است، افزایش چشمگیری در منفی نگری، تعبیر منفی از حوادث و افکار منفی به طور دائمی. یعنی مغز میشه تولید کننده ترسناکترین افکار، پرورش دهنده بدترین و منفیترین فکرها و مصرف کننده و خریدار افکار نابود کننده و تخریبی. بعد درک منفی از وقایع و رخدادها، اختلال تو لیمبیکه. بعد کاهش در انگیزه و تحرک، نه هیچی رو میخواد، نه کاش بمیرم راحت شم، کاش میمردم، کاش امشب که میخوابم صبح بلند نشم. بعد هجوم خشم، کینه، بیشتر از خشم کینه، ریج. مشکل در اشتها و خواب یا کم یا زیاد، کاهش و افزایش در اشتهای جنسی، انزوا طلبی و جدایی از جمع، میل شدید به روزه خوندن برای خویشتن و سوگواری کردن در تنهایی. یعنی در تنهایی آدم دلش به حال خودش بسوزه و باور نکردن کسانی که مایلند او رو از این پین بیرون بیارن یا بهش نزدیک بشن. حالا با همین فیلم رو میبینیم. امروز اگر ساعت 9 بریک بگیریم اب نداره. خیلی دست به آب کسی نمیخواد. خیلی 35 دقیقه فقط مونده میبینیم و بعد چرا
called the limbic system. It's your emotional brain, and it's critical to human survival because it is our emotions that drive us to love and to work. So our limbic brain's involved in our mood, how happy or sad we are. It sets our emotional tone, how positive or negative we are. It's involved with bonding, our ability to connect to other people. It's also involved in processing pain. Processes your sense of smell and your interest in sex or your libido. Isn't that interesting? That smells and sex go hand in hand. The whole perfume industry is based on that fact. Now, I already talked about baby powder as a powerful aphrodisiac for women, but did you know that cinnamon is a powerful aphrodisiac for men? And when I told my mother this, she hit her forehead and she said, "That's why I have 7 children. He would never leave me alone." Being Lebanese, she cooks with a lot of cinnamon. Now, when our limbic brain is healthy, we bond to other people. When we love our partners, or we love our children, or we love our parents, they actually come to live in the nerve cell networks of our brain. But did you know our animals do the same things? I mean, the ones you love? And what a lot of my colleagues don't understand is that when you lose an animal, when they run away, or when they die, that the limbic system becomes flamed because it's still looking for them. Our animals live in the nerve cell networks of our brain. So when I'm away from Fraser, I miss him. He still lives in my head. We once had this wonderful Maltese dog, Pollyanna, for 11 years. And when Polly died, my oldest daughter got very depressed for about 6 months. I mean, she would have nightmares about Polly. Every time she'd go by the place in the house where the dog's bowl was, she'd start to cry. Why? Because Polly still lived in the nerve cell networks of her brain. And it wasn't until a number of months later when Madison came along and replaced Polly in those networks that Brienne actually started to get better and heal. So people, like our animals, they're very important to the overall health of our brain. When there are problems in this part of the brain, usually when it works too hard, people become sad and depressed, negative. They often feel hopeless or helpless. They are racked with guilt. They have what I call a high ant population. Now what is that? ANT stands for automatic negative thoughts. The thoughts that come into your mind automatically and ruin your day. And what a lot of people don't know is thoughts lie a lot. And one of the ways, if you really want to be well, is you have to learn how to just challenge or correct the negative thoughts that go through your head. You don't have to believe every thought you have. People who have problems in this part of the brain tend to isolate themselves. It's not good. They're less interested in things that are usually fun, including sex. And they have a lot of pain. And it's so interesting that people with pain syndromes often have depression, and treating their depression often helps their pain. One of the great supplements that I often recommend, it's called SAMe, works not only for depression, but also for pain. Isn't that interesting? So how do you help this part of the brain? All right, I know I'm stuck on this, but exercise is truly amazing. There was a head-to-head study recently comparing Zoloft, one of our great antidepressants, it's a really good antidepressant, with exercise. At the end of 12 weeks, they were equally effective. That's pretty cool. At the end of 10 months, exercise blew the socks off of Zoloft. Now think with me for a minute. At the end of 12 weeks of taking an antidepressant, okay, if it works, you're less depressed. But also 60 to 80% of people now have sexual side effects, right? I mean, these medicines have side effects. At the end of 12 weeks, you're less depressed. And you have a better body. So you're actually feeling a little more sexual. Exercise is critical. At least 4 times a week if you're depressed. And you're like, I can't do that. But the more you do it, the more you can do it. Fish oil. It's amazing for this group. Why? Because fish oil has in it something called omega-3 fatty acids, found to be low in depression and low in people who try to kill themselves. Taking fish oil in a number of studies has been found to help balance out your mood. And people who live in the countries that eat the most fish have the lowest incidence of depression. Isn't that interesting? And you want to get rid of the automatic negative thoughts. You don't have to believe every thought that you have. And so in my office I actually collect anteaters, right? Just to remind myself, you know, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling mad, if I'm feeling nervous, I write it out. And then I talk back to it, right? You don't have to believe every thought you had. How many of you were good at talking back to your parents when you were teenagers? I was excellent. But you need to be good at talking back to those crazy, silly, distorted thoughts that are going through your head. And one that's just so simple. You get a thought in your head, you just ask yourself, is it true? Can I absolutely know that this is true? And so often, when you're feeling bad, your thoughts are lying to you a lot. Now, if needed, there are natural supplements or medications that can be helpful, which I talk about in the book. Now, in this segment, you can see my approach is really different. Knowing the part of your brain that needs help is a shortcut to getting well in the fastest, most efficient way possible. When I come back, I'm going to show you how to make your brain great. You are not stuck with the brain you have. You can make it better, and I'm going to show you how, including how to prevent Alzheimer's disease. And I'm not kidding. See you in a minute. Welcome back. So has anyone developed brain envy yet? Anybody want to have a better brain? Well, let me tell you a story about a man who came to our clinics to get scanned just to support his wife. So they came from the East Coast to California, and his wife suffered with a panic disorder. And so she was really in trouble and needed help. And he just thought, well, I'll just get scanned to support her. And when I looked at his 56-year-old brain, it looked terrible. It looked like he was 80 years old, and it was bad for an 80 years. Surprised, I asked him what he was doing to hurt his brain, and he said, nothing. Really? How much do you drink? I mean, it's a common question. How much do you drink? Not very much. Now, as a psychiatrist, I've learned you have to then follow up that question. How much is not very much? Maybe 3 or 4 drinks a day. Every day? Yeah, every day. But it's never a problem. I never get drunk. I've never gotten into trouble with it. Now I could see he was starting to get nervous. Why do you drink every day, I asked. Well, since my daughter went off to college, I have this empty nest thing going on. And I spend time at a local pub just to be with my friends. It's sort of like the show Cheers. Well, you're poisoning yourself, I said with little tact. If you keep this up, pretty soon your brain's going to look a lot worse. And with that comes trouble with memory and everything else in your life. The man was shocked that his brain went as bad as it did. And as we talked, I could see he was beginning to develop brain envy. After learning about his brain, he wanted a better one. And so I gave him a very specific program that included stopping alcohol. For him, no alcohol is okay because he's already dealing with a struggling brain. With physical exercise, mental exercise, he actually decided to pick up the piano, vitamins, and fish oil. 4 months later, he wrote me saying he felt like mentally he was 30 years younger. His energy was better, his memory was better, he felt smarter and more articulate. He did better at work, and he even started writing a book, which is something he had been thinking about for 5 years, but could never find the time or the motivation. You too can have a better brain. You can have a younger brain, because with a healthier brain comes a healthier life. And you can have a better brain even if you've not been very nice to your brain. In this last segment, I'm going to give you 5 prescriptions to make your brain great. We are going to talk about protecting your brain, feeding your brain, working your brain, exercising your brain, and preventing Alzheimer's disease. So let's start. Protecting your brain. Head injuries matter. They can ruin your whole life. So wear your seatbelt. Drive in safe vehicles. Wear helmets that fit. Golf is good. Tennis, terrific. Table tennis is the world's best sport, which we'll see. Head injuries matter. Protect your head. Avoid toxic substances. Alcohol, drugs, nicotine, too much caffeine, toxic fumes, and many medications, especially pain medicines and anti-anxiety medicines, are not very good for your brain. And make sure that you get enough sleep. Remember, less than 6 hours a night is associated with decreased blood flow to your brain. And anything that decreases blood flow to your brain prematurely ages your brain. You want to feed your brain right. I call this eat right to think right. You are what you eat. Literally. Your brain makes itself new every couple of months. A healthy diet is essential to healthy brain function. Now, the best brain diet is made up of lean protein. Good carbohydrates. I call these complex carbohydrates that are also low glycemic. You probably heard the term low glycemic. That means carbohydrates that do not raise your blood sugar. So think green leafy vegetables or vegetables in general and decrease bad fat, like trans fats. But not all fat. Did you know that 60% of the solid weight of your brain is fat? So that if somebody calls you a fathead, say thank you. So you need healthy fat in your diet, especially omega-3 fatty acids, because all the 100 billion brain cells that you have, their cell lining is made up of long-chain fatty acids. And you get them through fish, such as salmon and tuna, avocados, and walnuts. And water is also critical to your brain. Remember, the brain is 80% water. Anything that dehydrates you is bad for it. And you want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day. So, what are some brain-healthy foods? I put together a list for you of 12 of my favorite. And the first one's avocados. Why? Because of the omega-3 fatty acids. But this does not mean you can have a ton of guacamole. Because avocados also are fairly calorie dense, right? And obesity doubles your risk for Alzheimer's disease. Obesity is bad for you. Okay, but a little bit of avocado is great for you, as are blueberries. In fact, I call these brain berries because they're loaded with antioxidants and they have fiber. Broccoli, because it has folate. Very important vitamin for your brain. Green tea. Now, decaffeinated green tea is better, but green tea is amazing because in it, it has a substance called theanine. And theanine helps you relax and helps you concentrate at the same time. So it's sort of like the perfect supplement. And people that drink green tea on a regular basis have a lower incidence of Alzheimer's disease. Oatmeal, because it helps balance your blood sugar. Oranges for vitamin C. Red bell peppers. Did you know red bell peppers have 3 times the level of vitamin C as green bell peppers? Salmon for omega-3 fatty acids and great protein. Spinach for B vitamins and helps balance your system. Tuna, turkey, and walnuts. Did you know that walnuts have 3 times the level of omega-3 fatty acids as almonds? But this does not mean double fudge chocolate chip cookies with walnuts. I tell my patients, eat from the rainbow. What that means is put foods in your diet that have many different colors, because that naturally increases the amount of antioxidants in your body to help keep your body and your brain young. But eating from the rainbow does not mean Skittles. I also recommend to my patients that they take 100% multiple vitamin every day. Why? We don't have balanced diets. We have fast food diets. According to the American Medical Association, people should take multiple vitamins every day to help prevent chronic illnesses like cancer, heart disease, and dementia. Almost 80% of us do not eat at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. You know, that's the recommended dose. Likewise, I believe all of us should take a fish oil supplement every day. Why? One of the main ingredients in fish oil, as I've said, is omega-3 fatty acids, found to be low in depression, low in dementia, low in people who have attention deficit disorder, and low in people who try to kill themselves. Taking fish oil on a regular basis, every day, has been found to be good for your heart, good for your skin, good for your eyes, good for your joints, good for your hair. Obviously, I started late. And good for your brain. I think all of us, as a baseline, should take between 1 to 2 grams a day of high-quality fish oil. Of course, you should talk to your doctor. And if you're a vegetarian and you don't want to take fish oil, you can take flaxseed oil. Now, the next thing to do is work your brain. Why? Because new learning is essential to keeping your brain young. Whenever you learn something new, your brain actually makes a physical new connection. When you stop learning, your brain actually starts to disconnect itself. Now, for this strategy to be effective, you need to learn things that are new and different for you. So, for example, if you're a gourmet chef and you learn a new recipe, well, that's not good for you. Why? Because you already know how to cook. That's like second nature or a piece of cake. But learning a language, or learning about a new country, or learning to play the piano can be just ever so helpful, and it doesn't take much time. 15 minutes a day. That's all it takes. Change your exercise, change your brain. Exercise is literally the fountain of youth. People who exercise on a regular basis have better cognitive abilities. They think better, their concentration's better, and their memory's better. Exercise boosts blood flow to the brain. Exercise also boosts growth factors in the brain that help you grow new neurons. What? I thought we were born with all the brain cells that we would ever have. Wrong! About 10 years ago, they discovered that the brain continues to make new neurons throughout life. How exciting is that? So you can actually encourage new brain cell growth just by exercising. Now, the best exercises for your brain are both aerobic, where you get your heart rate up, geez, that's boosting blood flow to your brain, and coordination exercises, right? So just being on the treadmill, there's not much coordination with that. That's not necessarily good for your brain. But something like dancing, especially where you're learning new steps, now that is great for your brain. Unless, of course, you're drinking while you're dancing. The next great brain exercise, and I'm not kidding, is table tennis. Because you have to get your eyes, your hands, and your feet all to work together at the same time while you're thinking about the spins on the ball. There's this fascinating study from Japan where they actually scan people before and after playing table tennis for 10 minutes. And what they found is their cerebellum worked better and their prefrontal cortex, remember that? The most human, thoughtful part of your brain, also worked better. Table tennis is great for your brain. So more table tennis, less football. And boxing. Do you think boxing is a good brain sport? Say bad brain sport. Come on, let's be thoughtful about this. All right, who among you wants to live to 85 or beyond? Okay, you want to pay attention now. Why? Because 50% of people who live to 85 will be diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Wow. Well, that means you need to pay attention, and you are at risk for Alzheimer's disease. If you have a family member that has it, if you have a personal history of a head injury, heart disease, a stroke, diabetes, cancer, ADD, or depression, you're at risk for Alzheimer's disease if you don't exercise twice a week. You're at risk for Alzheimer's disease if you do not engage in regular lifelong learning. And if you pay attention to me, I'm going to teach you how to prevent it. With these strategies that I'm going to talk about, you can delay the onset of Alzheimer's disease by 6 years or more. But you need to make these interventions part of your life now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk to you about each of the risk factors for Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so the first risk factor is genetics. You have it in your family, and there's certain genes that increase your risk for Alzheimer's disease. So if you have a genetic risk, how do you decrease that risk? Well, you can't get different parents. So what that means is you have to take prevention seriously, as early as possible. The next risk is a brain injury. If you've had a brain injury, you have a higher risk, especially if you have Alzheimer's disease in your family. Now, how do you prevent getting a brain injury? Wear your seatbelt. Drive a safe vehicle. Wear helmets that fit. Don't play with your brain. And if you had a head injury, know that you're at a higher risk and you have to take prevention seriously. If you drink too much alcohol, you now have a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. How do you decrease or eliminate this risk? Stop drinking. This is not that hard. Drink less. If you have cardiovascular disease, including hypertension or high cholesterol levels, that increases your risk for Alzheimer's disease. How do you decrease that risk? It's diet and exercise. And if you have heart disease or vascular disease, don't play with it. Get it treated. Because when these things run away from you, you are so much more likely to be demented. If you exercise less than twice a week, you now have a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. So how do you decrease that risk? Exercise more. If you drop out of school, or if you're in jobs that do not require lifelong learning, you have a higher risk. So how do you decrease that risk? Regular lifelong learning. Always be enrolled in some sort of educational activity. If you have diabetes, that increases your risk. So how do you decrease the risk of diabetes? Diet and exercise. And if you have diabetes, you want to make sure it's tightly controlled. Otherwise, it's a blood vessel disease and it causes disease in your brain. Smoking. Smoking's a nightmare for brain function. Now, interestingly, the early studies on smoking and Alzheimer's disease said smoking protected you from Alzheimer's disease. But when they actually looked at the data and they figured out how it protected you from Alzheimer's disease, do you know how it protects you from Alzheimer's disease? You're dead! Dead people don't get Alzheimer's disease. But when they corrected for the dead people, what they found is it increases your risk. Of course, because it's constricting blood flow to the brain and it's poisoning. Untreated depression and untreated attention deficit disorder are risk factors for Alzheimer's disease. So how do you prevent that? Is you treat them. These are brain disorders. Cancer treatment. How unfair is that? You get cancer and you have to take chemotherapy, but as chemotherapy kills cancer cells, it also kills normal cells. So if you've had chemotherapy, you want to be on a brain healthy program as early as possible. Make sure you talk to your doctor. People who have sleep apnea, you know what that is? People who snore loudly, stop breathing multiple times at night, chronically tired during the day. Untreated sleep apnea doubles your risk for Alzheimer's disease. You should get it treated. if you get your nails done or you get your hair done too often, it increases your risk. You know, one of the occupations at the highest risk for Alzheimer's disease are cosmetologists, and I think it's because they're being poisoned. When you go get your nails done or you go get your hair done, make sure the place you go has great ventilation. The treatments we have for Alzheimer's disease work early, really early. They don't work late. So you want to know if you're vulnerable as early as possible. In one study from UCLA, it showed that 95% of people with Alzheimer's disease are not diagnosed until they're in the moderate to severe stages of this disorder. Putting your head in the sand and saying, no, it's just normal aging. It doesn't work. Because if you let this thing get away from you, it will ravage your brain and ruin your life. The brain imaging work we do shows that we can tell actually years before people have their first symptom. Now that's when it's most effectively treated. But what's interesting is there's also a very simple smell identification test that also can test early, because the smell center in the brain is near the memory center in the brain. So if you have trouble with certain scents, like strawberry, pineapple, lemon, or natural gas, then you are at higher risk. So these are easy to test for on a yearly basis. Although I looked at the natural gas one and I went, if you have trouble smelling natural gas, you're probably not going to have Alzheimer's disease because you're going to be dead in the explosion. As you can see, the exciting news is that there are many things you can do to prevent Alzheimer's disease and to keep your brain healthy starting now. It's not that hard, but you need to make these strategies part of everything you do as soon as possible. Brain health matters. Alzheimer's disease causes you to lose your mind. It's important to use your brain to prevent it. So now we come to the end. And my prayer for you is that it's really just the beginning of a new way to think about your brain and your life. Success starts with a healthy brain. Failure is often the result of a brain gone wrong. The good news is no matter how bad you've been to your brain, it is really never too late to change your brain and change your life. May God bless you. I'm Dr. Daniel.
من فکر میکنم که یه رو بریک رو بگیریم، سر 9 برگردیم و تو قسمت لیمبیک یه مقدار زیادی گفتنی داریم که با هم انجام بدیم.